Hey there, my wedding planning friends, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, thanks so much for clicking on this video. If you don't know who I am Emily Summer. I'm an event planner based in Montana, and I make weekly videos on wedding planning tips and advice. So today is part 2 of the last video I did, all about what couples would change about their wedding. So if you haven't seen part 1 yet, I'll link it above. And we basically covered what couples would change about the actual planning process of their wedding. And today we're going to do part 2, which is more of what couples would change at the actual wedding. So like at the ceremony and the reception. Okay, so the very first one might seem like an obvious one, but you'd be surprised how quickly your day goes by without this happening at all, and that is to eat food. Please eat food. I don't want you to pass out on your wedding, and it's a long day, so make sure that you have food scheduled to either be delivered or you have things set and prepared for while you're getting ready, whether that's like a Costco sandwich tray or fruit and veggies, like whatever it may be. Have food throughout the day. Don't just count on what you have catered for dinner to eat, because you're going to be tired and miserable, and if you're anything like me, super hangry. And nobody needs that on their wedding day. So make sure that you have plenty of food throughout the day and that you're actually eating it. At most weddings, the bride and the groom and the bridal party, if you have a buffet line, will typically go through the buffet first so that you guys are able to get food first and sit down and eat it while the rest of your guests are going through the line and getting their food, so that you have a chance to sit down and eat before the next thing happens or before your guests start taking you away to chat and meet up and mingle and all of that. So make sure you're giving yourself time to eat the actual dinner that you have catered as well. The second thing that couples wish they had done differently was to actually schedule in time to greet all of your guests and give a chance to at least say hello, thank them for coming. I've seen at weddings, and this works fairly well depending on how many guests that you have, scheduling this time in during dinner. So like I mentioned before, if you are going through the buffet line first or getting your plated meal first, you will likely be done eating first. So at that point is when you can kind of walk around and greet each table during dinner time. So you're at least making FaceTime with each guest, and you're not leaving the end of the night feeling like, shoot, I didn't even see half the people or speak to half the people that were there because I was so busy taking photos, or you're hanging out with your one specific group of people, your parents, your bridal party, whatever it may be. So schedule in a little bit of extra time there to go around and at least thank or say hello to each and every one of your guests. Number 3 is dance. This is, of course, if you're the dancing type. If you plan to have a DJ and you're having a dance floor, a lot of couples realize that the night goes by and they've spent maybe 30 minutes on the dance floor. So make sure that you're communicating with your coordinator or your photographer and letting them know that if this is something you want to make sure that happens at your wedding, like if you want to have a good party and you want to end up on the dance floor and hanging out with your friends, make sure that they are aware of this, so that you're scheduling all of your photos, all of the, the bouquet toss, the guard toss, anything that might take away from the dance floor early enough in the night, so that you're giving yourself time to just let loose and hang out with your friends on the dance floor. Number 4 sounds so cliche and obvious, but to just let it all soak in. Everything happens like a whirlwind. You wake up the next minute, it's the end of the night, and so making sure that you're taking the chance to really soak in the day. And I love to schedule in a little bit of time, even if it's 10 to 15 minutes out of the day, for you and your partner to just kind of sneak away for a little while and just be alone. And maybe that's time with your photographer. And when I'm photographing weddings, I'll schedule this time in as photo time, but really I like to use it as just an opportunity for the couple to kind of just talk to each other and really soak in, what just happened, and to talk about it. And to just make that a candid moment. And it makes for great photos too, but it's not like we're specifically taking them away for photos or for the next thing on the timeline. So just give yourself an opportunity, like I said, whether it's 10-15 minutes, to just really soak in the moment with your partner and not let the day just completely rush by in the blink of an eye, because it's very easy to do. Number 5 is to pay ahead of time. So a lot of your vendors will probably have their final balance due on the day of your wedding. So typically this is like your bartenders, your caterers, often your photographer, wedding coordinator. Usually I do the day before because I'm there at the rehearsal, and that seems to be a little bit easier so that we're not dealing with it on the wedding day. But anyone that you have remaining balances due on the day of your wedding, you can still pay them beforehand or at least get it prepared beforehand. So you should know what your final balance will be, and you can either write the check out, or if you're, getting tips prepared, cash tips for the vendors that you might be tipping. Which, side note, if you need advice on how and when and how much to tip your vendors, I do have a video all about that I will also link above, so check that out. But if you have all of your tips or your final balances written out prior to your wedding day in labeled envelopes, that way you can just hand them off to your wedding coordinator if you have one, or maybe a mom or a close family member that can kind of tackle that for you prior to your wedding day. That way you're not having to scramble and find your checkbook or be taken away from the moment with your friends and family to pay off the rest of your vendors before they leave. Number 6 is, I don't know why it always makes me laugh, but hiring a good DJ is so underrated. And this is something, whenever I hear, a complaint from somebody's wedding or something that they wish they would have done differently, it's typically investing in a coordinator and doing my research and hiring a really great DJ. I think people don't realize that a DJ is more than just providing music. They're also providing entertainment. They're also reading the room. They're reading the crowd. They're the ones that are going to really get the party going for you and get everyone on the dance floor. They're very skilled in knowing, in reading the crowd and knowing what will get them on the dance floor and what's not working so well. And also, they're a great MC, so they're the ones that are going to really keep the day flowing in communication with your coordinator. Or even if you don't have a coordinator, a DJ is at least something that's going to help keep things flowing. So making sure that your first dance is happening, making sure that your father-daughter and your mother-son and all of those other dances are happening, so that you aren't having to, wrangle everybody up and tell them what's going on next, and making sure that everyone's having a good time or wondering if they're enjoying themselves or what song they want to hear. Having a very skilled professional DJ will take care of all of that for you, and truly, I'm not exaggerating when I say this, it can make or break your wedding. Number 7 is having transportation in place, and the couple that told me this was referring to their specific transportation as a bride and groom. So whether this is for hiring transportation for all of your guests or just for yourself as a couple or your bridal party, having some sort of transportation in place scheduled ahead of time for you to also get to your wedding, but also to leave at the end of the night, is something that you definitely want to have planned. This way you don't have to worry about if you need to drive your vehicle or leave it overnight, or if you have to have somebody plan to drive your vehicle back that night, or appoint someone from your wedding as a DD. You can schedule an Uber ahead of time, or you can hire a transportation company to bring a car out for you, and just eliminate any of the what ifs or having to scramble at the last minute to get yourself home at the end of the night. Have that planned in place so that you don't have to worry about it. The 8th and final thing couples wish they had done differently at their wedding was hiring professional hair and makeup. So obviously this is a personal choice and your own preference, and a lot of people are comfortable doing their own makeup, and that's just fine. But I will say there's a really great benefit to hiring professional hair and makeup for your wedding. Not only will it give you the chance to just kind of relax and drink champagne with your gals in the morning while you're getting ready, but also you could be great at makeup but not necessarily using professional products that are going to last you throughout the whole day. A professional makeup artist will make sure that they're using products and setting sprays and all the things that you need to make sure that it lasts from the time that you're getting ready in the morning, because sure, your wedding might be happening in the afternoon, but you're going to be getting ready hours before that even happens to get ready for photos and everything that comes before that. So you want to make sure that you are having a look that will last you throughout the entire day, and that way you don't have to worry about how you're looking in the photos towards the end of the day, and just feel really secure in the fact that you hired a professional. So do some research on makeup artists if it's something that makes you nervous. Get makeup trials. Just allow yourself to let somebody else pamper you on your wedding day. Well, that is the last of what couples would change about their wedding. If there's anything that I didn't mention that maybe you did at a wedding or saw at a wedding that you would do differently, let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't checked out part 1 yet, be sure to do that. And hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe to get weekly videos on wedding planning tips and advice. And we'll see you next week.